Ever catch yourself spiraling into negative self-talk or drowning in uncertainty? It's like trying to navigate a storm with no compass. But what if you had a daily mental anchor, powerful Stoic-based affirmations that could guide you back to clarity, calm, and control? Negative thoughts and self-doubt can weigh us down like invisible chains. They whisper lies about our worth, drain our energy, and cloud our focus. But what if, instead of letting them control your mind, you had a set of empowering affirmations, a kind of daily armor for your spirit? Words rooted not in fleeting motivation, but in timeless Stoic wisdom. Words that remind you of your strength, your purpose, and your ability to choose how you respond to life. That's exactly what this episode is about. 10 powerful Stoic affirmations to ground your thinking, sharpen your actions, and align your life with your highest values. These aren't just empty mantras. They are tools crafted from the principles of emotional mastery, personal responsibility, and resilient growth. Whether you're struggling with anxiety, trying to overcome a setback, or simply want to live each day with deeper intention, these reminders will help you reset, refocus, and rise. Together, we'll explore why these affirmations matter, how they can shift your mindset, and, most importantly, how to apply them practically so they leave a lasting imprint on your daily life. So if you've ever asked yourself, how can I stay calm in the chaos? Or, how do I keep going when life feels heavy? Then stay with me. These 10 Stoic affirmations will empower you to face each day with confidence, purpose, and an unshakable inner strength. Let's begin with the first one. I am capable. Every single day brings its own wave of challenges, tasks to complete, conflicts to manage, unexpected problems to solve. And in those moments, self-doubt often creeps in like a thief in the night. What if I'm not good enough? What if I mess this up? But here's a truth worth repeating. You are capable. You have more strength, intelligence, and resilience than you give yourself credit for. Even when the road ahead seems unclear, the power to move forward begins in your mind. The Stoic Emperor Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This quote captures a deep truth. Your capability isn't determined by what happens around you. It's defined by your inner will to act, to learn, and to adapt. Being capable doesn't mean knowing all the answers. It doesn't mean being perfect. It means trusting yourself to figure things out step by step. It means being willing to show up, make mistakes, and grow from them. Think back. When was the last time you faced something you were convinced you couldn't handle, yet somehow you made it through? Those are the moments that prove your inner strength. So when you tell yourself, I am capable, you're not just saying words. You're reminding yourself that no matter what comes your way, you can respond with courage, with flexibility, and with purpose. It's not about being fearless. It's about moving forward in spite of fear. Now let's take this deeper. The feeling of being capable often grows through action. Picture this. You're standing at the edge of a cold pool. The longer you hesitate, the colder and scarier it seems. But the moment you jump in, your body adapts. The fear dissolves. Life's challenges work the same way. You grow stronger not by waiting for certainty, but by taking that first uncertain step. To build this mindset daily, start a simple habit. At the end of each day, write down one thing you handled well. Maybe it was completing a task, resolving a conflict, or simply showing up when it was hard. These small wins remind you that you're capable, even when life feels overwhelming. And when you stumble, don't see it as failure. See it as evidence that you're trying, learning, and gaining wisdom. So the next time doubt creeps in, take a breath. Repeat this affirmation. I am capable of handling whatever comes my way today. It's more than a phrase, it's a choice, a way of thinking that shifts your mindset from fear to self-belief. Because capability isn't about having all the answers. It's about being willing to try, to grow, and to keep. I shape my reality. Imagine this. You're stuck in heavy traffic, running late, frustration bubbling up. You can't move your car any faster. You can't change the red lights. But what if you could change something far more powerful? Your experience of the situation? You could choose to let that frustration ruin your mood. Or you could reframe it. I can't control the traffic, but I can use this time to collect my thoughts or listen to something inspiring. The traffic doesn't change, but the way you experience it completely transforms. And that is the power of shaping your reality. This idea isn't limited to traffic. It applies to every part of life. Criticism? Instead of taking it personally, you can view it as feedback, raw material to become stronger. Failure? Rather than letting it convince you that you're not good enough, you can treat it as a stepping stone, a necessary part of growth. See, the moment you start shaping your perspective, you start reclaiming control over your life. No longer are you tossed around by circumstances. You become the one steering the wheel. Here's a simple exercise. Next time you're faced with a setback or emotional trigger, pause. Ask yourself, is there another way to look at this? Is there something I can learn here? That habit of reframing doesn't come naturally at first, but over time, it rewires your thinking. You begin to meet life with curiosity and strength, not dread. And shaping your reality doesn't stop at perception. It also involves setting intentions. Ask yourself, what kind of life do I want to build? What values do I want to embody, even when it's hard? When you answer these questions clearly, your energy starts flowing toward what matters most. Let's say kindness is one of your core values. When someone makes a rude comment, you don't lash out. You respond with calm patience. That moment becomes a quiet act of strength, or maybe growth is what you value. In that case, each challenge becomes a welcome test, an opportunity to expand rather than retreat. Now visualize your mind as a camera lens. You can zoom in tightly on your fears, mistakes, and frustrations, or you can adjust the frame, widen it to see your potential, your lessons, and your progress. The lens you choose determines the reality you live in. That's why this affirmation is so powerful. I shape my reality. It's a daily reminder that you are not just reacting to life, you are co-creating it. You're not a leaf in the wind. You are the sculptor of your world, turning every obstacle into something meaningful, every day into a chance to move forward. So the next time life feels chaotic, pause. Take a deep breath and remind yourself, I shape my reality. Choose the perspective that serves you. Respond with intention, because the way you see the world directly influences how you live in it. And that kind of power, it's not something you wait for. It's something you already have, right here, right now. My path is clear. Clarity doesn't always arrive as a lightning bolt of certainty. Sometimes it's just the quiet courage to take the next step, even when the road ahead is still hidden by fog. Picture this. You're standing at the base of a massive mountain. You can't see the peak. The trail looks uncertain, maybe even a little intimidating. But as you take one careful step and then another, the path slowly reveals itself. Life works the same way. It rarely offers a full map. Instead, it rewards those who move forward with purpose and trust. Your path doesn't require perfect visibility. It requires movement, courage, and consistency. And the key to making that path clearer? It starts with setting meaningful goals. Ask yourself, what truly matters to me? What am I working toward? The answers to these questions become your internal compass, silently guiding your choices, especially when things get confusing. Without that sense of direction, it's easy to drift through life, reacting instead of creating, wandering instead of walking. That's why writing down your goals, no matter how big or small, can be a powerful act of clarity. These goals become guideposts, helping you filter out distractions. But here's a reality we all face. Life doesn't always go according to plan. Unexpected turns will come, setbacks, changes, opportunities that weren't on your radar. Instead of fighting them, what if you embraced them? What if you saw those shifts not as detours, but as part of the journey? For example, let's say your career takes a surprising turn. Rather than panic, pause and ask, what new doors does this open? What strengths can I bring with me? This mindset, committed to your purpose but flexible in your path, makes you resilient even when the road twists. Here's a simple practice to ground this mindset. Each morning, set a small intentional goal for the day. Something aligned with your greater vision. It might be reaching out to someone who inspires you, dedicating 30 minutes to a passion project, or completing one task that moves you closer to your dream. By choosing just one meaningful action, you cut through the noise of the day and build real momentum. And just as important, reflect at the end of your day. Ask yourself, did I move closer to my purpose today? What can I learn to make tomorrow better? This daily check-in keeps you anchored. It allows you to course correct if needed. Think of it like crossing a river using stepping stones. You may not see the other side yet, but every step forward brings the next one into view. So when you say my path is clear, you're not claiming to know everything. You're affirming that you're moving with intention, that you're choosing purpose over passivity. You're reminding yourself that clarity comes not from certainty, but from action. Life may always have its fog, but your quiet resolve, your daily steps forward, clears the way. Take a deep breath. Affirm it again. My path is clear. Trust your vision. Commit to your next step. And believe deeply that the journey is unfolding exactly as it should. I grow stronger daily. When you say, I grow stronger daily, you're not just offering yourself encouragement. You're recognizing a powerful truth. Growth is always happening, even when you can't yet see the results. Like seeds growing quietly beneath the soil, your effort is never wasted. The Stoic philosopher and emperor Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "What stands in the way becomes the way." In other words, the very obstacles we fear or avoid, those are the things that shape us. They're not roadblocks. They're raw material. Every failure, every moment of discomfort, every unexpected challenge is an opportunity to become more resilient, more focused, and more capable. True growth doesn't come from avoiding life's storms. It comes from walking through them, learning with every step. Think about it. The first time you tried something difficult, a public speech, a new skill, a hard conversation, it probably felt clumsy, awkward, or overwhelming. But you did it anyway. And over time, with repetition, it became easier. That's growth, quiet, invisible, but undeniable. There's a common myth that growth should feel dramatic or even life-changing. But in truth, most of it happens in the smallest moments. When you try again after failing, when you choose patience over frustration, when you sit with discomfort instead of escaping it. These moments may feel insignificant, but they're the building blocks of inner strength. To stay rooted in this mindset, make it a habit to reflect on your growth. Once a week, even just for 5 minutes, pause and ask yourself, how have I improved? Maybe you responded to a stressful situation with calm. Maybe you stuck to your journaling habit or said no to something that used to drain you. These small wins matter. They show you that progress is happening even when it feels invisible. Now let's talk about setbacks. Most people see mistakes as signs of failure, but Stoics saw them differently. Mistakes mean you're trying. They mean you've stepped out of your comfort zone, and that's where real growth lives. So when you affirm, I grow stronger daily, you're embracing every misstep as a lesson. You're saying, I'm building something, even on the hard days. Here's a simple practice. At the end of each day, write down one thing that made you stronger. It could be a skill you practiced, a tough moment you. By doing this, you shift your focus from perfection to progress. And over time, your mindset changes. You start seeing your growth instead of doubting it. Think of growth like planting a tree. At first, you don't notice much. The changes are slow, but with sunlight, water, and care, roots deepen, branches expand, and one day, what once looked like nothing becomes a solid, towering symbol of strength. Your personal development is the same. Each small effort adds up, even if the results take time to appear. When you tell yourself, I grow stronger daily, you're not claiming that every day will be perfect. You're acknowledging that even the rough ones are part of the process, that the struggle itself is the training ground. So the next time you feel stuck, discouraged, or like you're not doing enough, stop and breathe. Then say it. I grow stronger daily. Believe that every effort, every setback, every moment of persistence is adding to the strength you'll need tomorrow. Growth isn't instant. It's earned step by step, day by day. I commit to excellence. Committing to excellence isn't about seeking perfection. It's about choosing every single day to give your best effort, not just when it's easy or when people are watching, but especially when no one else would notice. It means showing up with clear intention, staying disciplined in your actions, and refusing to settle for just enough. When you affirm, I commit to excellence, you're not chasing applause or external validation. You're choosing to live in alignment with your deepest values. You're deciding to become the best version of yourself, moment by moment. The Stoics believed deeply in virtue, the practice of doing the right thing with care, courage, and consistency. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, if it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. This quote gets to the heart of excellence. It's about integrity and intentionality. It's about doing what's right, even when it's hard, even when no one's clapping, and even when shortcuts seem tempting. Committing to excellence starts with a simple but powerful mindset shift. Instead of asking, what's the minimum I can get away with? Ask, how can I bring my best to this moment? This doesn't mean the outcome will always be perfect. It means you made the effort to do something well, whether it's big or small. Let's make this real. Picture this. You're assigned a project at work. Sure, you could rush through it, tick the boxes, and call it done. Or you could take that extra time to think it through, polish it, and make sure it reflects your values and your care. That effort doesn't just improve the result, it sharpens your skills, earns respect, and, most importantly, builds self-respect. Excellence also means staying disciplined, especially when it's hard. There will be days when you're exhausted, unmotivated, or tempted to cut corners. But that's when this affirmation matters most. When you say, I commit to excellence, you're reminding yourself that your standards are not based on mood. They're based on who you want to become. And here's the truth. Excellence is rarely found in grand gestures. It shows up in the tiny, invisible actions you repeat each day. Making your bed with care. Preparing a healthy meal instead of ordering fast food. Listening attentively instead of just waiting to speak. Each of these small acts is a quiet declaration. I choose to live with purpose. And over time, those small decisions compound into something extraordinary. Now let's not ignore the long game. Committing to excellence also means being patient with yourself. Growth doesn't happen in a straight line. There will be missteps, delays, and days when you feel like you're failing. But excellence isn't about never falling. It's about always getting back up. It's about the willingness to learn, to adjust, and to try again. Here's a practical exercise you can start tonight. At the end of your day, ask yourself, what did I do today with excellence? It doesn't have to be dramatic. Maybe you stayed calm in a tough moment. Maybe you gave someone your full attention. By noticing and honoring these moments, you reinforce a powerful habit, the habit of bringing your best, not for applause, but because you deserve that from yourself. Think of excellence like climbing a mountain. The summit may feel far off, and some days the climb will feel endless. But each step, no matter how small or shaky, brings you closer. What matters most is that you keep going, step by step, breath by breath, with your standards intact. When you affirm, I commit to excellence, you set a standard that isn't defined by other people's opinions or comparisons. It's yours. It's a promise to live with integrity, to respect your potential, to raise the bar, not to impress others, but to honor the kind of life you're building. So the next time you're about to begin a task, big or small, pause and ask yourself, how can I do this with excellence? Then act with intention, with care, and with pride. Because when you live this way, you don't just complete tasks, you build character. And that, more than any outcome, is what truly lasts. Excuses do not define me. Excuses, they sound innocent, even reasonable. I don't have time. It's too difficult. I'm just not ready. We've all said them. We've all believed them. But the truth? Excuses aren't protection. They're a trap. They don't shield us from failure. They trap us in it. They limit our growth, drain our confidence, and keep us looping in a frustrating cycle of inaction and regret. That's why the simple affirmation, excuses do not define me, is so powerful. Because the moment you say it, you start taking your power back. The Stoics were crystal clear on this point. Epictetus famously said, "It is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This one truth dismantles every excuse we hold. It reminds us that while we can't always control our circumstances, we are always responsible for how we respond. Excuses might feel like a soft cushion for our discomfort, but in reality, they're the very wall keeping us from progress. Think back. When was the last time you made an excuse and felt proud of it? Maybe you skipped a workout because you were too tired, or put off an important task because it felt overwhelming. Sure, it gave momentary relief, but how did you feel later? Frustrated? Guilty? Why? Because deep down, you knew you were capable of more. Taking responsibility doesn't mean you blame yourself for every challenge. It means you own your part in how you respond to those challenges. Letting go of excuses starts with a shift in mindset. Instead of saying, "I can't," ask, "How can I?" Let's make it real. Suppose your goal is to improve your health, but you keep telling yourself, "I don't have time to exercise." What if you change that to, "My health is a priority. I'll find 10 minutes even if it's just stretching." That small shift, just a sentence, starts a ripple effect. You take action, you build belief, you regain control. Now, to be clear, letting go of excuses doesn't mean pretending challenges don't exist. It means meeting these challenges with honesty and creativity. Say you lack resources, acknowledge it, but then ask, what can I do with what I have? What's my next best move? That's real power. Here's a simple but effective exercise to start rewiring your response. Next time you catch yourself making an excuse, write it down. Then ask yourself, is this excuse really true? Or is it just a shield I'm hiding behind? Then flip it into an empowering statement. For example, excuse, "I don't have enough experience." Challenge it. No one starts as an expert. Empowering statement, "I will learn and grow by starting where I am." By doing this, you begin to see excuses for what they really are. Temporary fears dressed up as logic. And most of those fears, they come from the same source. Fear of failure, fear of being judged, or fear of being uncomfortable. But here's the good news. Fear fades when met with action. Every time you choose responsibility instead of excuse, you prove to yourself that you can rise. And every time you rise, you build something unshakable: confidence, resilience, momentum. Think of it this way. Excuses are like handing the steering wheel of your life over to the storm, letting the wind and chaos decide where you go. But when you say, "Excuses do not define me," you're grabbing the wheel again. You're choosing to steer, even if the waters are rough. You're not just drifting anymore. You're deciding. And that's what builds character. That's what creates change. So next time you hear that little voice whisper, "Not now, maybe later. It's too hard," pause, breathe, and tell yourself clearly, powerfully, "Excuses do not define me. I am designed for greatness inside each of us." There is something more, something powerful, untapped, and waiting to be awakened. It's potential, the quiet certainty that we were not born to merely survive or go through the motions, but to rise, to grow, to contribute, and to become. But how often do we silence that voice? How often do we let self-doubt creep in, telling us we're not good enough, not ready, not as talented as someone else? Comparison, fear, and perfectionism, they make us forget. You are designed for greatness. Now don't mistake this for empty motivation. Greatness doesn't mean being famous. It doesn't mean being the best at everything. It means living in alignment with your highest potential. It means becoming someone you respect, someone who lives with purpose, with virtue, and with quiet strength. The Stoics understood this deeply. Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, once wrote, "At dawn, when you have trouble getting out of bed, tell yourself, I am rising to do the work of a human being." This wasn't about chasing glory. It was about rising with dignity, contributing with integrity, and fulfilling your duty as someone capable of meaningful impact. When you affirm, I am designed for greatness, you're not pretending to be flawless. You're not claiming perfection. You're simply acknowledging the truth that you are capable, that you can grow, that you can turn setbacks into stepping stones, and that every small choice you make can either pull you closer to or further from the best version of yourself. Let's pause and reframe what greatness truly is. It's not measured by awards or applause. It's found in how you approach your day, in the care you bring to your work, in the patience you offer a friend, in the courage it takes to keep going when things get hard. Greatness is shown in the details, in your attitude, your consistency, your effort when no one is watching. Think of someone who inspires you, not because of their fame, but because of their perseverance, their integrity, or the way they light up a room with kindness. That's greatness, and it's not reserved for a select few. It lives in you too, waiting to be claimed. Every time you step outside your comfort zone, every time you choose growth over stagnation, you are living proof that greatness is not given, it's cultivated. But let's talk about the biggest barrier: self-doubt. That whisper in your head that says, you're not ready, you're not smart enough, you'll never make it. Let's be clear. Doubt is not truth. It's just a thought, an old mental habit you've practiced for too long. And like any habit, it can be broken. When doubt shows up, you counter it. Say to yourself, I have what it takes to figure this out. I am not behind, I'm building. Every step I take brings me closer. Do that enough times and eventually, you'll start to believe it, because it's true. Lastly, remember this. Greatness is a journey, not a destination. You don't wake up one day and suddenly feel great. You grow into it, moment by moment, effort by effort. Some days you'll feel on top of the world. Other days you'll feel like you're slipping backward. That's normal. That's part of becoming. What matters is your commitment to keep rising. So tomorrow morning, when you feel tempted to play small or to doubt yourself, pause, breathe, and say it out loud. I am designed for greatness. Then take the next step forward. Because the world doesn't need perfection from you. It needs your courage, your growth, your quiet strength shown through daily action. External opinions do not sway me. Let's be honest. It's easy to care about what others think. We're wired for connection, for belonging. But there's a line we often cross where other people's voices become louder than our own. Have you ever felt proud of something only to feel unsure the moment someone raised an eyebrow or offered a judgmental comment? That's the trap, and it's one that can slowly steal your confidence if you let it. When you affirm, external opinions do not sway me, you are planting your feet firmly in your own truth. You are choosing to live not for applause, but for alignment with your values, your purpose, and your deepest self. The Stoics knew this well. Marcus Aurelius, one of the wisest Roman emperors, once wrote, "It never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinion than our own." That contradiction still holds true today. We say we want to live authentically, but we often give away our power to the opinions of people who don't live our lives, fight our battles, or understand our path. Let's break this down. The truth is, people see the world and you through their own filters, past experiences, insecurities, fears, and expectations. When someone criticizes you, it's often more about their lens than your reality. Think about it. Someone who never dared to chase their dream might discourage you from chasing yours. Someone who fears failure might project that fear onto your bold choices. So why would you let their fear define your future? Now, this doesn't mean you ignore all feedback. Constructive insight can help you grow. But there's a difference between useful advice and noise, and learning to tell them apart is a superpower. Here's a practical exercise. The next time you feel shaken by someone's opinion, pause and ask yourself, does this person truly understand my values and goals? Are they someone I would switch places with in this area of life? Is their opinion coming from a place of wisdom or fear? These questions help you filter noise from truth. Living by this affirmation means making choices rooted in internal clarity, not external approval. Imagine you're walking down a road, and every few minutes someone calls out from the sidewalk, "That's not the right path. You should go back." Why are you doing that? If you stopped to respond to every voice, you'd never reach your destination. But when you walk with quiet conviction, eyes forward, heart aligned, you move steadily toward the life that's meant for you. And the voices, they fade. Another powerful practice is journaling. Write down what you value, what drives you, what matters most to you, not to please others, but to remind yourself. The more grounded you are in your own truth, the less sway outside opinions will have. Let's be real. There will always be critics. There will always be people who don't get it. But their lack of understanding does not diminish your path. Your value isn't measured by someone's inability to see it. When you repeat to yourself, "External opinions do not sway me," you're declaring independence from judgment. You're choosing to listen to your own voice, not the world's echo chamber. You're saying, "I trust myself enough to lead my life." So the next time you hesitate because of what someone might say, pause, breathe, and remember, you weren't born to fit in. You were born to stand firm, stand in your truth, own your voice. I embrace the present moment. The present moment is the only space where life truly happens. Yet how often do we overlook it, lost in regrets of the past or worries about a future that hasn't even arrived? Think about it. We relive old conversations, replay our mistakes like a looped recording, and ask ourselves, what if, far too often. At the same time, our minds fast forward to fears and imagined scenarios. What if I fail? What if things don't go as planned? In doing so, we miss the only moment that's real. This one. By affirming, "I embrace the present moment," you're choosing to anchor yourself in now. You're gently pulling your mind back from its restless wanderings and planting your attention where your power lives, the here and now. The Stoics deeply valued presence. They believed that peace, clarity, and even power could only be found in our current experience. not in the ghosts of yesterday or the illusions of tomorrow. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Confine yourself to the present." Why? Because that's the only time you can act. You can't undo the past. You can't control the future, but you can choose your focus, your attitude, your action right now. Let's explore this further with a simple example. Imagine you're walking through a beautiful garden, but instead of enjoying the colors and scents around you, your eyes are fixed behind you, scanning a map of where you've already been. Or you're staring ahead, worried about what paths lie beyond the next turn. What happens? You miss the flowers. You miss the joy of this step. You miss the garden entirely. That's what we do with life. Now, embracing the present doesn't mean ignoring the past or refusing to plan for the future. It means not being trapped by them. It means fully engaging with what's in front of you while carrying the wisdom of the past and the vision of the future, not their weight. Here's a practical exercise. When you catch yourself drifting into regret or anxiety, pause. Take a deep breath. Notice what you can hear, what you can feel, what's directly in front of you. This simple act of noticing brings you back. It reminds you, you are here, you are alive, and this moment matters. Another practice is mindful gratitude. Each day, take time to name 3 things you appreciate about the current moment, no matter how small. Maybe it's the quiet morning light, a conversation that made you smile, or the fact that you showed up for yourself today. These tiny recognitions anchor you. They help you see that even in chaos, there is peace available in the now. When you embrace the present moment, you allow yourself to let go of what no longer serves you. You stop waiting for some future perfection to be happy, and instead, you begin to live. So the next time your mind runs to what was or what if, pause and gently remind yourself, I embrace the present moment, because this moment, right here, right now, is the only place where growth happens. I let go of what I can't control. There's a hidden tension that quietly steals our peace, the struggle to hold on to what we were never meant to control. It could be the past, with its regrets and unchangeable moments, or the future, with its endless uncertainties and what-if scenarios. This constant tug of war between what has been and what might be keeps us from fully experiencing the richness of what is. By affirming, I let go of what I can't control, you're making a conscious decision to step out of that struggle. You're choosing peace over anxiety, clarity over confusion, and presence over pressure. Marcus Aurelius, in his timeless Stoic wisdom, said, confine yourself to the present. Why? Because the present is where your influence lives. It's the only place where real choices are made, where growth happens, where you can act with intention. The past, you can't rewrite it. The future, you can't predict it. But this moment, this is yours. Letting go doesn't mean you forget the past or ignore the future. It means you stop allowing them to dictate your emotions. The past becomes a teacher, not a prison, and the future becomes a vision, not a source of fear. Think about how often we miss what's right in front of us because our minds are elsewhere. You could be having dinner with someone you care about, but your mind is rehearsing tomorrow's meeting. Or maybe you're replaying that awkward moment from last week. Your body is there, but your presence is not. And the moment, however meaningful, slips away unnoticed. When you let go of what you can't control, you free your mind to experience the moment fully. You make space for peace, focus, and fulfillment. Here's a practical way to practice this mindset. Pay attention to when your thoughts drift toward worry. Are you obsessing over how others will react? Are you stuck reliving a mistake? In those moments, pause and ask, is this something I can influence right now? If not, gently let it go. Bring your energy back to what is within your power. For example, say you're preparing for a major presentation. Your mind begins spiraling with fear. What if I forget something? What if I fail? Instead of feeding that fear, shift your focus to action. What can I do right now to prepare better? That's Stoic resilience. That's where peace begins, not in controlling outcomes, but in owning your response. Letting go also applies to relationships and other people's behavior. You can't control how someone sees you, what they choose to do, or how they react. But you can control your integrity, your attitude, and the love or boundaries you offer. Letting go is not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of wisdom. It means you're mature enough to know where to direct your effort and brave enough to surrender the rest. Here's another simple exercise. At the end of each day, write down 2 columns, what I can control and what I can't. Be honest with yourself. Then mentally release the second list. Remind yourself, I trust life to unfold. I trust myself to handle what's mine. Think of the things beyond your control, like leaves floating down a river. You don't have to chase them. Let them drift. And instead, focus on building your raft, your strength, your mindset, your actions. So the next time you feel overwhelmed by what you can't change, pause and tell yourself, I let go of what I can't control. Because your power isn't in fixing everything. It's in showing up fully for what is yours to carry. And when you do that, I control my emotions. They can lift us up, spark inspiration, deepen our relationships, and bring color to our everyday life. But they can also cloud our mind, drive impulsive choices, and trap us in regret. The difference lies in whether we control our emotions or let our emotions control us. By affirming I control my emotions, you're not denying the reality of what you feel. You're reclaiming the power to choose how you respond. It's not about suppressing your emotions. It's about steering them with intention, clarity, and strength. The Stoics were crystal clear on this. Epictetus famously said, "It is not events that disturb us, but our interpretation of them." In other words, it's not what happens that upsets us. It's how we think about it. That insight changes everything. If your interpretation has power, then so do you. Imagine this. Someone makes a sharp comment. Your meeting gets pushed. Plans fall through. In the moment, frustration rises. Your heart beats faster. Your mind reacts. But then you pause, you ask, is this worth giving my peace away? And just like that, you shift from reaction to reflection. That's Stoic mastery in motion. Let's make this even clearer. Controlling your emotions doesn't mean becoming emotionally numb. It means recognizing the wave as it comes and choosing whether to ride it, redirect it, or let it pass. It's the difference between being dragged by the current or calmly steering your own boat. Think about a time when anger or sadness got the better of you. Did it solve the problem? Did it bring clarity? Or did it leave you feeling drained, maybe even ashamed? Now picture a different version of you in that same moment. One who takes a breath, one who pauses, then speaks with intention, not intensity. That version of you exists. You just have to choose to bring them forward. Here's a simple but powerful practice. The next time you feel a strong emotion rise, don't act right away. Name it. I feel anger. I feel overwhelmed. Naming the feeling gives you distance. Then ask, what's really causing this? What would the wise version of me do next? That short space between feeling and action is where your power lives. Let's take a real-life example. You're in a tense conversation. Someone crosses a line. Your instinct? Fire back. But you pause. You remember, I control my emotions. You lower your voice instead of raising it. You ask a clarifying question instead of making an accusation. That one choice transforms the entire outcome. You protect your peace and your dignity. Another practical tool, mindfulness. It trains you to notice your emotional state before it hijacks your behavior. Next time stress builds up, stop and take 3 deep, slow breaths. Notice the tension in your body. Let it soften. Focus on what you can control right now. That's not avoidance. It's leadership from within. Emotions aren't the enemy. They're messengers. They tell you something matters. But they're not your master. You are. So the next time a storm brews inside you, pause. Say to yourself gently but firmly, I control my emotions. And act not from impulse, but from inner power. The words you tell yourself shape your life. One of the most powerful tools in mastering your emotions and your mindset is reframing. When something frustrates or upsets you, stop and ask, is this worth my energy? What else could this mean? Instead of letting a situation drain you, you shift your perspective and reclaim your power. Let's say someone criticizes your work. It stings. Your instinct might be to get defensive or shut down. But what if instead you reframed it as feedback, a chance to improve, a new angle to explore? The situation hasn't changed, but you have, and that's everything. Reframing is emotional alchemy. You turn discomfort into direction, challenge into clarity. And this isn't denial, it's wisdom in motion. Emotional control also thrives on self-compassion. Yes, control, but not through force, through kindness. When you stumble, when you feel overwhelmed, resist that harsh inner critic. Instead, speak to yourself like you would a dear friend. It's okay to struggle. I'm still growing. I'll get through this. That grace, that space, is where true resilience begins. Think of emotional control like captaining a ship through rough seas. The waves, anger, anxiety, sadness will come, but you're the one at the helm. You can't stop the storm, but you can navigate it. Steer with skill. Adjust your sails. Keep moving. That's emotional mastery, not suppression, but navigation with wisdom and strength. So the next time emotions rise like a tidal wave, don't let them crash over your life. Pause, breathe, and affirm, I control my emotions. Let that reminder anchor you in the storm. Because emotional strength doesn't mean you never feel. It means you choose how to act, even in the chaos. And the words you tell yourself every day matter more than you think. They shape your focus. They drive your behavior. They define the direction of your entire life. By embracing these 10 Stoic-inspired affirmations, I am capable. I grow stronger daily. Excuses do not define me. I control my emotions. You're not just saying nice words. You're rewiring your thinking. You're training your mind. You're claiming the life you were meant to live. One choice, one mindset shift, one powerful sentence at a time. Stoic philosophy reminds us that we may not control the external world, but we always control our internal one. That's where true freedom lives, not in avoiding chaos, but in mastering the calm within it. So let me ask you, which affirmation speaks to your soul right now? Which one do you need to carry with you into tomorrow? Pick one, repeat it, live it. Because greatness isn't about luck or talent, it's about intention. And that starts with what you tell yourself when no one else is listening. Thank you for joining me on this journey. If this message stirred something in you, share it. Pass it on to someone who might need these words today. And never forget the power to rise, to grow, to thrive. It's already within you. You've got this. Until next time, stay mindful, stay strong, and keep speaking truth